being said, Tristan, the Cleveland Browns on this Saturday?
Yep,
Is
Saturday
it
at
this
4:30. Yep.
Saturday at 4:30. Travel to Houston, where the Browns will face CJ Stroud for the first time, Houston Texans for the second time this season in the wild card of the playoffs. This is interesting. So I'll let you go first. Um, one of the things that we had said on the podcast that wasn't able to be released was who do you want the most? And we both said
Yeah.
Jacksonville. And I had the Colts as my second team that I had the Colts as the team that I didn't want to
hmm
see.
I had Houston.
You had the
Yep.
Texans. So where do you stand I mean, I think that we know
Yeah.
the answer. Um, but as far as that conversation goes, do you still obviously probably stand with that? And what's your kind of just going into this? What do you think? What do you
Yeah.
feel?
So first things first, let me get this straight. I'm not necessarily scared of the Houston Texans with CJ Stroud. It was of those three who would I least like to see, and it was the Texans. And the reason for that was because out of the three teams, I felt like they had the quarterback that had the most magic fairy dust. Like that was what it was. I you know, I respect the Houston Texans, and I think that they are going to come out and play a lot better than what they did when we played them last time. I'm really expecting that. Um, you know, Willie Anderson was hurt. Jonathan Grenard went out after the second snap, and I want to say their other corner, Nelson, he went out really early into that game too. So, you know, I don't anticipate this being as easy as it was last time. Um,
Mhm.
and this is a team you got to respect. I mean, with CJ Stroud out there, they are different. They are completely different. Um, and what I will say is this: I still anticipate the Browns defense to come out and I don't know if I would say dominate, but really control the game.
Mhm.
I still expect that. Now, with CJ Stroud, I am anticipating that he's going to make some plays. And he's going to be able to push the ball down the field. He's going to be able to throw into tight windows. And, this is a guy that is played in the college football playoff against Alabama.
Mhm.
He's played in the game multiple times. So this is a guy that's had.
It was it was Georgia. Not
Oh,
to correct you,
Georgia,
but
my bad. Sorry.
you're good.
I
All good.
yeah, but
Actually, better team than
yes,
Alabama,
yes.
but
Um,
your point stands.
yeah, and this is a guy who has had the most pressure of pressure that a rookie could possibly have. So this guy isn't
Mhm.
necessarily going to be phased, and it's a home environment for him. Um, so that was all the reasons kind of why I was kind of like, that's the team I would least like to see. But don't get it twisted. The Browns
Mhm.
should win this football game. They are the more talented team, top to bottom, the more complete team, especially. And our defense matches up really well against our offense and what they want to do. Um, the
Mhm.
big question defensively for me is Devin Singletary. Are you able to limit him? Um, because I know Dalton Schultz, it could be a worry. Um, I just anticipate that the Browns are going to have a really good game plan for him because I see Nico Collins and Dalton Schultz as far as receiver targets, the only two that I feel like could kill us if we don't properly
Mhm.
prepare for them. Devin Singletary with the run game, if they're able to get a run game going and establish it, that could concern me. But right now, the way the interior of the D line is playing, the D line as a whole is playing, I anticipate that this line is going to get after that Texans O line, and I think we're going to win the line of scrimmage um, on both sides of the ball. I do. Now, offensively, it gets a little bit more tricky because, of course, you're out your top two tackles, which makes it hard. Um, and you have to establish the run game. And the Texans um, are a very respectable run defense, so that's something that you do have to look out for. For me, in this playoffs, the most underrated aspect of this team, the part that could let this team down, is our run game. And it sucks
Mm-hmm.
because we have the perfect guy that just is
Mm-hmm.
hurt. And we'll see if we're able to persevere through that. And I mean, Jerome Ford looked incredible against the Jets. So hopefully he's able to repeat that performance here against the Texans. I think he can. And the offensive line, with the extra rest that they have had, I'm sure that'll definitely help out quite a bit as well. So, we'll see. We'll
Mm-hmm.
see. But I think that, we should be the favorites coming into this game 100%. Amari Cooper and Elijah Moore absolutely are going to play in this game. I'm 100% confident that David Njoku's playing in this game. I trust that Flacco's going to be able to get the ball to the right place. And here's the thing, and it ties in with the run thing. If you're able to run the ball effectively, you can have Flacco throw it 30 to 35 times rather than 40 to 45 times, and you
Mm-hmm.
can limit those turnover worthy plays. And if I'll go as far as to say this, the Browns can have an interception against the Texans and still beat them. They can turn the ball over
Mm-hmm.
once, maybe twice, and still beat them. But it's something that we have to be mindful of. So, yeah, I think we got to take a good look at that. Um, but yeah, all in all, I just think we match up really well against these guys. I think that it's possible that their defensive ends could have a great game against our tackles. It's possible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
But man, just the way that Flacco's been wheeling and dealing, the way that we're seeing the best football we've ever seen out of Amari Cooper, out of David Njoku, and against the Jets, Elijah Moore looked great. So I think that right now we've got a lot of momentum rolling, and this defense is dominant, man. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if we lose this game, it's going to be because we didn't get the run game going, and it made us one dimensional on offense. And then defensively, they were able to establish the run, and CJ made some killer plays, which he's
Mm-hmm.
capable of. So that's why this is a game where, like, we got to give him the respect, because the NFL
Absolutely.
is a
Yeah.
close league. The difference between us and the Texans is not a lot, but we just have the talent, we have the veterans. I feel like we're going to get this thing done. So I got the Browns
Yeah.
taking the dub here. But Derek, what are some of your concerns? What are your thoughts? Positive thoughts and everything, kind of going into this Browns Texans game.
Yeah. So watching that Colts Texans game was, it was crazy because I said before, the Colts are a scrappy team that you don't want to see because it doesn't matter if they have the talent or not. Like, they're able to find ways to win. And, what Jonathan Taylor did in that game was incredible. I mean, he absolutely went off. And like you mentioned, this is a game
Oh my
that,
God! Breaking
if we had
news.
Jeez, I don't even know where to pick up after hearing that news. That
Hmm.
is
I know, it's
wow.
insane.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying before this news dropped, if there was any time that you want to have Nick Chubb, it's now. Jonathan Taylor had a great game against the Texans. Would love the Browns to follow in the footsteps of the Colts. Obviously, the Colts very well could have won that game, if I forget
Tyler
his name,
Goodard,
but
I
the
think his
the
name is
play,
Tyler Goodard. Yeah.
yeah. If he catches the ball, and I'm not hating on him, I know he's probably gotten all sorts of horrible things said to him. It happens. It is what it is, right? It's just the reality of football. It's a game of inches. The ball
And
didn't end up in
yeah.
his hands
Well,
in
and the
this.
thing is like, like it was the right play, right throw, right execution. The
Hmm.
throw was a little bit off, could have been better. Um,
Yeah.
it's football. Sometimes it happens, unfortunately. And it's easy for us to say that now, but if that happened to us, we'd be very upset, I'm sure.
Mhm,
But yeah, no, it was just an
mhm.
unfortunate play for me.
Yeah, yeah. So this could very well be the Colts and the Browns, but um, so some good things for the Browns. Joe Flacco is tied with Thomas Edward Patrick Brady for 7 road playoff wins. So if there is anybody you want going into the playoffs as your starting quarterback, going to a team's house, it's well, it's Tom Brady, but we don't have Tom Brady. So it's Joe Flacco, and we have Joe Flacco. So he has a chance here to break this record, and that would be kind of crazy, especially breaking it as a Cleveland Brown,
Oh, I'd
used to
love it.
be
I'd love it.
Raven. That would be crazy. Um, but defensively for the Browns, you mentioned it, Nico Collins. He had 9 receptions, 195 yards and a touchdown. He was dominant against the Colts. Stroud was 20 and 26, 264 yards, 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, 5 receptions, 42 yards. So, what you said about those two being the weapons offensively, 100% correct. That is spot on. Tank Dell's not there. I think that is a huge, huge, huge thing for the Texans. So, and then you mentioned it, Devin Singletary. He had 26 carries, 63 yards, and a touchdown. Um, Here's the deal. Defensively for the Browns, I'm confident in our secondary. I'm confident in Jim Schwartz. I think we're going to be able to limit them through the air. You gotta. I hate to say it, you gotta make them run the ball, and I think the Browns can do a better job than the Colts stopping the run. I don't have the numbers to back that up. I'm just more confident in what we have to do that. Um, but with that being said, CJ Stroud is that dude. He is a playmaker. He is going to make plays no matter how well you have him covered or his receivers covered. Like, he's going to make plays. Um, the Browns just have to limit those special plays. You have to limit superstars being superstars. That's hard to do, but same thing can be said about Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. CJ Stroud is one of those guys, right? He just makes plays. And for the Browns, got to find a way to stop that. And then offensively, I think, despite not having Nick Chubb, obviously, you mentioned it, have to have a run game. I think the Browns can do that. I think this is a Kareem Hunt game where he gets more carries. Um, and then guys just got to step up. Njoku's got to continue what he's doing. Elijah Moore's got to be something, which, he was in the Jets game. And Amari Cooper absolutely went off and dominated against Texans. So, um, we'll see. We'll see. But I'll leave it at that. I think the Browns do win. I think the game is obviously a lot closer, but boy, CJ Stroud is special, and it sucks being on the other side of that. But um you're muted, but go ahead with
Yeah,
whatever you want
yeah.
to say here,
I
and
was just
then
saying, absolutely.
get rolling.
I just wanted to check with you. Any final comments on this Texans Browns game before we kind of move on? All right,
Mm.
perfect.